The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. Stop. Seriously, just stop for a beat. Close your eyes if you want. Let those words resonate, not just as a string of syllables, but as a profound, almost terrifying declaration. Imagine the sheer audacity, the unyielding defiance required to utter such a phrase, particularly when you've just been utterly, definitively vanquished. You're not hearing this from a motivational speaker, nor a guru perched serenely on a mountaintop. No, these are the thunderous, defiant words of Lucifer, the once brightest angel, now fallen, now known as Satan, in John Milton's monumental epic, Paradise Lost. This isn't just poetry. It's a gauntlet thrown down against the very fabric of cosmic order. It's a claim to absolute internal sovereignty, a terrifying assertion that even in the deepest abyss, one can forge one's own reality. Now lean in, because I'm about to propose an idea that might just dismantle your preconceived notions about one of the most fundamental narratives in human history. What if the single most compelling, the most complex, the most profoundly human, and yes, even the most tragically relatable character in the grand, sweeping narrative of creation, the story of God, of man, of good and evil, of paradise lost and paradise regained, wasn't the omnipotent, benevolent creator? It wasn't the innocent, easily tempted first man, Adam, nor the curious, fate-sealing Eve. What if, instead, the beating, defiant heart of this epic belonged to the very entity we've been taught to revile, the devil himself? For generations, Paradise Lost has existed in a kind of literary purgatory for many, shrouded in an aura of academic impenetrability. It's often been dismissed as a dense, archaic theological tome, intimidating in its scope and its verse. But I'm here to tell you that this widespread perception is not just misguided. It's a colossal misunderstanding. Because when you strip away the layers of academic veneer and approach it with fresh eyes, you realize that Paradise Lost isn't merely an old poem. It is, without hyperbole, the ultimate villain origin story ever put to paper. It's a psychological thriller centuries ahead of its time, a blistering saga of rebellion, identity, ambition, and the searing, irreversible consequences of free will. It is unequivocally literature's original and perhaps greatest anti-hero masterpiece. Forget the simplistic, cartoonish devil of popular culture, the horned, red-skinned caricature brandishing a pitchfork. Milton's Satan is a figure of staggering majesty, of intellect, of a charisma so formidable that he managed to persuade a full third of heaven's angelic host to abandon divine grace, to risk utter annihilation, and join him in a cosmic insurgency against omnipotence itself. He is a general of unparalleled strategic mind, a political operator of terrifying shrewdness, and an orator whose speeches don't just inspire. They electrify, they reignite hope in the utterly defeated, they forge unshakable resolve in the face of insurmountable odds. He's a being of immense power, yes, but also of raw, bleeding pride, of wounded dignity, of an ego so vast it cannot conceive of subservience. His famous, defiant declaration, "Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven," isn't just a clever turn of phrase. It's the visceral roar of an entity who values absolute autonomy, unbridled self-determination, above all else, even above eternal bliss, even above life itself. Does that not resonate with a powerful, almost primal chord within our modern storytelling landscape? Think about the anti-heroes who captivate us, who dominate our screens and our discussions today. The complex, morally ambiguous figures whose descent into darkness we follow with an almost morbid fascination, precisely because we recognize, however uncomfortably, the very human impulses that drive them. I'm talking about characters like Walter White from Breaking Bad, a man initially defined by his quiet desperation, a chemistry teacher facing a terminal diagnosis, who slowly, deliberately, chillingly transforms himself into the ruthless drug kingpin, Heisenberg. His ambition, his raw yearning for control, his desperate desire to leave a legacy, to prove his own worth, even if it means sacrificing every shred of his morality and shattering the lives of everyone around him, is a saga of tragic self-creation. We don't, or at least shouldn't, condone Walter White's evil, but we are undeniably, profoundly drawn into the psychological architecture of his rebellion against his own perceived insignificance. We understand the seductive pull of power, the intoxicating feeling of being in control when life has stripped it away. Or consider Thanos, the Mad Titan, from the sprawling tapestry of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A being of almost godlike power, driven by a horrifying but disturbingly internally consistent philosophy. He truly believes his genocidal actions are a necessary, if brutal, evil for the ultimate salvation of the universe. He's no simple brute. He's a philosopher king, burdened by his convictions, capable of immense sacrifice for his perceived greater good. We grapple with the chilling logic of his worldview, with the immense, lonely burden he carries. We understand the allure of a final solution, even as we recoil from its horror. Milton's Satan is the original prototype for these complex, compelling figures. He is the anti-hero, the progenitor, whose rebellion isn't born of simplistic malice alone, but from a profound, deeply felt sense of injustice, a consuming, corrosive pride, and an unshakable, though ultimately destructive, belief in his own inherent right to freedom and equality. His journey isn't just a simplistic fall from grace dictated by divine fiat. It's a meticulously detailed psychological exploration of the birth of an ideology of opposition. He constantly makes choices, knowing full well the agonizing, eternal consequences, yet he continually chooses his path, paradoxically cementing his own hell through an exercise of what he desperately perceives as ultimate, defiant freedom. It's a tragic irony woven into the very fabric of his being. This isn't merely an ancient poem recounting biblical events. This is a profound, searing, and deeply human examination of the very core of existence itself. It's a deep dive into the psychology of rebellion. What does it truly mean to defy authority, regardless of the cost? How do we define freedom, and at what precarious point does that pursuit of freedom spiral into self-destruction, into tyranny over one's own soul? What are the true, far-reaching consequences of our choices, not just for ourselves, but for the entire tapestry of existence, for generations to come? Milton grapples with these monumental questions with an intellectual rigor, a theological audacity, and a poetic beauty that remains utterly unparalleled in literature. To end this series, my friends, we are not simply going to dissect old verse or labor through archaic language. Oh no, we are embarking on an intellectual adventure, a thrilling journey into the very heart of human ambition, the intoxicating, often corrupting, allure of power, and the incredibly complex, often contradictory, motivations that drive us all, both towards monumental greatness and towards catastrophic destruction. We're going to peel back the glorious, terrifying layers of this extraordinary epic to uncover why Milton's Satan, despite being the ultimate villain, remains one of the most compelling, problematic, and yes, profoundly relatable characters in all of literature. Get ready to challenge your most deeply held preconceptions, to explore the darkest, most defiant corners of free will, and to perhaps, just perhaps, find yourself understanding, if not outright sympathizing with, the ultimate antagonist. This is Paradise Lost, reimagined, not as a sermon, not as a dusty academic exercise, but as the raw, unfiltered, electrifying saga of a cosmic rebellion, a devastating fall, and the tragic, magnificent, terrifying making of a legend. Let's dive deep into the mind that can, against all odds, make a heaven of hell. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Or, if this is your very first time tuning in, prepare yourself for an exploration that I promise will be unlike anything you've encountered before. Today, we're not just glancing at a historical artifact. We are plunging headfirst into the profound depths of a literary titan, a monumental work of human ingenuity and spiritual daring that, despite being penned over 400 years ago, still resonates with a profound, almost unsettling familiarity in our hyper-connected, often disoriented modern lives. We're talking, of course, about John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost. Now, before your mind conjures images of dusty academic libraries, droning lectures, or the kind of classic literature that feels more like a chore than an adventure, let me unequivocally state, this isn't that. Not by a long shot. Forget the dry recitations of plot points or the rote memorization of literary terms. This is something far more vital, far more personal. This is an invitation to explore the very bedrock of Western thought, an opportunity to understand the foundational myths that have subtly, yet profoundly, shaped our understanding of ourselves, our universe, and our place within it. John Milton wasn't merely a poet. He was a force of nature, a political revolutionary, a blind scholar of almost unimaginable erudition, and, perhaps most crucially for our purposes here, a thinker so audacious, so daring, that he challenged the very heavens. He dared to do what few before him, and arguably few since, have possessed the intellectual courage or spiritual audacity to attempt. He didn't just tell a story about God and the devil, he psychoanalyzed them. He ventured deep into their divine and demonic psyches, explored their motivations, their towering strengths, their agonizing flaws, their glorious triumphs, and their absolute universe-shattering ruin, thereby humanizing figures we often only encounter as distant, unapproachable symbols. He made the cosmic intensely personal. This isn't merely a retelling of an ancient biblical narrative. It is, at its core, a profound, relentless interrogation of the most fundamental questions that continue to define and often plague us in the 21st century. We won't be simply reading a classic text in the traditional sense. We will be dissecting, examining, and ultimately, I hope, understanding the very source code of Western ideas about some of the most critical and enduring aspects of our existence. Think about the concept of free will. What does it truly mean to possess the power of choice? To choose between right and wrong, between obedience and rebellion, between personal desire and universal consequence? Especially when the stakes are not just your reputation, but the fate of all humanity, the very fabric of creation itself. We're talking about power. How is it acquired? How is it wielded both justly and tyrannically? What happens when it's usurped? When a being of immense might is cast down? And how does the loss of power warp and redefine an identity? Seduction. And I don't mean just the romantic or superficial kind. I mean the insidious, almost irresistible pull of ambition, the seductive whisper of forbidden knowledge, the subtle, creeping temptation that preys on our deepest desires and our most profound vulnerabilities. And finally, redemption. Is it truly possible to return from the abyss? Can we ever genuinely atone, truly come back from the brink once we've made that catastrophic, irrevocable choice, a choice that reverberates through eternity? These aren't abstract philosophical debates. These are the very sinews of human drama, played out on an unimaginable scale, yet mirroring the quiet battles we fight within ourselves every single day. Our journey through Paradise Lost will be nothing short of epic, an adventure for the mind and soul, in every conceivable sense of the word. We'll ascend to the dizzying, brilliant heights of heaven, witness cosmic battles of unimaginable ferocity between angelic legions, the clash of will against divine decree, and feel the earth-shattering defeat of Lucifer and his rebel angels as they are hurled into the void. We'll then descend into the fiery, suffocating abyss of hell, a realm not just of physical torment but of psychological agony, a place forged from despair, burning resentment, and a defiant, unyielding pride that refuses to bend. We'll delve deep into the chilling, compelling psychology of a being, Satan himself, driven by eternal spite and an unquenchable thirst for revenge. But then, with a masterful stroke, Milton pulls us back, zooming in from the colossal cosmic stage to the most intimate, poignant, and profoundly human moments. We'll step into the pristine, innocent, almost impossibly beautiful Garden of Eden, a vision of Paradise Lost. And there, amidst that perfect setting, we will intimately explore the delicate, terrifying psychology of the very first argument between a man and a woman, Adam and Eve. A moment of fragile trust, of nascent love, shattered by the immense weight of universal consequence. We'll witness, almost as if through their own eyes, the agonizing birth of shame, the crushing pain of regret, the dawning, terrifying realization of what it means to be truly human, truly flawed, and irrevocably responsible for the trajectory of one's own destiny and that of all who follow. And here, perhaps, is the most liberating part. You don't need a background in classical literature, or a degree in theology, or even a single shred of prior knowledge about Paradise Lost to embark on this extraordinary journey with us. Seriously, let go of any intimidation. This isn't about proving your intellectual prowess or memorizing obscure footnotes. This is about connection, about discovery, about seeing our shared humanity reflected in a masterpiece from centuries ago. All you truly need is an open mind, a genuine willingness to engage with colossal ideas, and perhaps a healthy dose of curiosity about yourself, about the human condition, and about the forces that have shaped our collective consciousness. Because by the end of this journey, I genuinely believe that you will not only understand, with newfound clarity, why this 400-year-old poem still defines us, but you will also begin to see powerful, resonant echoes of Milton's revolutionary insights in your own daily life, in your own choices, in your relationships, and in the incredibly complex, often tumultuous world we navigate every single day. So, take a deep breath, lean in, and prepare to be challenged, inspired, and perhaps irrevocably changed. It's going to be an unforgettable ride. Chapter 1, The Psychology of Rebellion, Books 1-2. Alright, let's not just read an old poem. Let's step into the crucible, into the fiery aftermath of the greatest cosmic rebellion ever conceived. Welcome to the first chapter of our journey into Milton's Paradise Lost, a chapter we'll call The Psychology of Rebellion, because to truly understand this epic, we can't just see Satan as a monster, a cartoon villain. No, Milton gifts us a figure far more complex. A tragic, charismatic leader whose very essence is forged in loss, pain, and a defiance that is both breathtaking and terrifying. Our story, for this chapter at least, begins not with creation, but with a fall. Imagine it. A once glorious archangel, cast down from the highest heavens, plummeting through chaos for 9 days and nights, landing in a lake of fire. Absolute defeat, utter humiliation, and yet what emerges from that burning despair is not surrender, but a raw, unyielding will to fight again. This is where we first truly encounter Satan, waking to his grim reality. He sees his legions, once bright, now scorched and silent. And what does he do? He speaks. This isn't just a speech. It's a masterclass in rhetoric, a defiant anthem that pulls a defeated army back from the brink of oblivion. Remember his iconic lines. All is not lost. The unconquerable will and study of revenge, immortal hate, and courage never to submit or yield. Think about that. Every shred of his power, every ounce of his being, is poured into transforming defeat into a defiant new purpose. He doesn't deny their loss. He redefines it. He takes the burning lake, the eternal torment, and says, "This is ours now. This is our domain. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven." It's a chilling proposition, isn't it? But for the angels listening, demoralized and broken, it's a lifeline. He appeals to their shared suffering, their wounded pride, their longing for dignity. He paints a picture of a new kingdom, built not on glory, but on an enduring, burning hatred. He doesn't just offer hope. He offers identity, forged in opposition. He turns their punishment into their new freedom, their fall into a foundation for a new empire. His voice, undoubtedly still resonant with some vestige of its former heavenly beauty, becomes the rallying cry of the damned. He's not selling them an easy win. He's selling them an endless war, and for beings who have lost everything, that promise of continued struggle, of being something, is profoundly compelling. From this individual act of defiance, we move to something far grander, and perhaps far more human, the Parliament of Hell in Book 2. Here, the fallen angels gather in pandemonium, the capital Satan has willed into existence. What unfolds is a dark mirror to human politics, a chillingly familiar display of ambition, debate, and the birth of a truly complex, insidious plan. We see different voices emerge. Moloch, the warrior, advocating for open war, for fiery vengeance. Belial, the pragmatist, arguing against further open conflict, suggesting a more indolent, passive existence in hell. Mammon, the industrious one, proposing that they can build their own opulent kingdom here, rivaling heaven's glory through sheer effort. Each offers a vision, a strategy, born from their individual temperament and the lessons they've learned from defeat. And Satan? He presides over it all. He lets them speak, lets them debate, lets their diverse opinions hash out the possibilities. This isn't a dictator silencing dissent. It's a shrewd leader allowing the illusion of choice, while subtly guiding the discussion towards his own predetermined outcome. He knows that outright war is impossible, that direct confrontation with God is a suicide mission. What he needs is a subtle, corrosive plan. And slowly, meticulously, through the process of this dark parliament, the idea takes root. A new world, a new creation where a race called man exists. A race that can be tempted, corrupted, turned against their creator. It's a strategy born of pure malice and calculated cunning. A plan that only truly comes into focus through the collective intelligence and ambition of the fallen. It shows us that even in hell, the mechanisms of power, persuasion, and political maneuvering are disturbingly familiar. Underlying all of this, powering Satan's incredible resilience and the very foundation of his being in hell, is the concept of pride. Milton presents pride as Satan's fatal flaw, the sin that initiated his downfall. It was his refusal to accept subservience, his belief in his own equal standing with God, that led to the catastrophic war. Yet, in hell, this very same pride transforms from a flaw into an incredible source of strength, of identity. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. This line encapsulates it perfectly. His pride refuses to allow him to submit, even in the face of eternal damnation. It is the unyielding core of his being. It gives him the strength to build a kingdom out of suffering, to rally a defeated army, to devise a plan that will wreak havoc on God's new creation. His pride isn't just about arrogance. It's about self-definition, about carving out an independent existence, even if that existence is defined by perpetual opposition and pain. Without this pride, he would simply cease to be Satan. He would be a broken, repentant angel. But his pride, however destructive, keeps him whole, keeps him vibrant, keeps him the tragic figure he is. It's a paradox. The very thing that damned him also empowers his continued existence and struggle. And this brings us to perhaps the most profound question that Satan, in his full, complex glory, forces us to confront. Is his freedom in hell, a freedom forged in defiance and suffering, more authentic than the angel's obedience in heaven? Think about it. In heaven, there is harmony, light, unending bliss, and perfect obedience to God's will. The angels serve, they worship, they are part of a divine order. Is that freedom? Or is it simply a predetermined state of being, a joyous captivity? Satan, on the other hand, actively chooses his reign, his suffering, his endless war. He chooses to define himself through opposition. He chooses his own path, however painful and destructive it may be. There is an undeniable authenticity to his self-determination, even if it leads to evil. He creates his own world, his own rules, his own suffering. The angels in heaven, arguably, don't experience the same struggle, the same individual forging of identity through adversity. They exist in a state of perfect alignment, but perhaps without the raw, visceral experience of individual will asserting itself against overwhelming odds. It's a chilling thought. That true, hard-won freedom might reside not in blissful submission, but in the harrowing wilderness of self-reliance, even when that self-reliance leads to eternal damnation. It makes us ponder our own choices, our own freedoms, the paths we choose. So, as we conclude this first chapter, we leave Satan not as a simple villain, but as a figure of immense psychological depth. He is a leader forged in loss, a rhetorician who turns despair into destiny, a being whose fatal flaw becomes his enduring strength. He embodies the complex, often contradictory, nature of rebellion itself. And he leaves us with a lingering, uncomfortable question. What does true freedom really look like, and what are we willing to pay for it? The journey into Paradise Lost has only just begun, and the questions Satan raises will echo throughout the epic. Chapter 2. Anatomy of Innocence and the Divine Plan, Books 3 to 8. Welcome back, fellow travelers, on our journey through the monumental landscape of John Milton's Paradise Lost. Last time, we plunged into the abyssal gloom of hell, witnessing Satan's defiant rise and the grim, twisted majesty of his fallen kingdom. Now, I want us to pull ourselves from that darkness, to ascend through the chaotic void, and to breathe in the pristine air of a world utterly different. This is Chapter 2, where we'll explore the anatomy of innocence and the divine plan, spanning books 3 through 8, contrasting the infernal with the celestial and the earthly. Imagine, if you will, the stark visual difference. From the fiery wastes and the suffocating despair, we now shift our gaze upwards, towards the ethereal light of heaven, and then down to the untouched, vibrant tapestry of Eden. This contrast isn't just aesthetic. It's philosophical, moral, and deeply emotional. In hell, we saw the corruption of greatness. Here, we will encounter perfection, at least for a fleeting, precious moment. Let's begin in Eden, the first world, the unblemished canvas upon which humanity begins its story. Here, we meet Adam and Eve, two figures who, for all their iconic status, Milton strives to make profoundly human. Their world is one of perfect harmony. The sun rises, warm and gentle, without scorching. The fruits of the garden hang heavy and sweet, requiring no toil to harvest. Animals roam, not as predators, but as companions. There's no hunger, no disease, no strife. It's a symphony of life, played in perfect pitch. But this isn't just a passive existence. Adam and Eve are beings of immense intellectual curiosity and deep, unwavering love. Their mornings begin not with a frantic dash, but with shared devotion, a simple prayer of thanks to their Creator. Their days are filled with tending the garden, yes, but also with profound conversation, with observing the intricate dance of creation, and with asking questions, endless questions, about the world around them. They are scientists in nascent form, poets without pen, philosophers without formal schools. Their love for each other isn't merely physical, though that too is depicted with a breathtaking innocence. It's an intellectual and spiritual communion, a partnership of minds and hearts. They walk hand in hand. Their arguments are playful debates. Their joys are shared wonders. They represent humanity at its purest, unburdened by sin, shame, or the complex tapestry of historical knowledge that would later define us. For me, this depiction is so vital because it grounds them, making their eventual fall not just a theological event, but a deeply personal tragedy. We see ourselves in their potential, in their questions, in their nascent understanding of love and companionship. But even as we revel in this Edenic peace, Milton shifts our perspective, reminding us of the grander cosmic drama unfolding. High above, in the boundless light of heaven, God the Father observes. And here we encounter one of the central philosophical tensions of Paradise Lost, the interplay between free will and predestination. God, in his infinite omniscience, foresees the fall. He knows Satan's intentions, and he knows humanity's impending choice. Yet, critically, he asserts that humanity will fall of its own free will, not through divine decree. This is a powerful moment. God declares that humans are sufficient to have stood, though free to fall. He emphasizes that he gave them reason, conscience, and choice. Their actions will be their own. And this, for me, is where Milton truly grapples with the paradox that has vexed theologians and philosophers for millennia. If God knows the future, how can our choices be truly free? Milton's answer, through God's voice, is that foreknowledge isn't predestination. Knowing what will happen doesn't make it happen. It simply reflects an awareness of a choice that is genuinely made. It's a subtle but crucial distinction, one that places the burden and the glory of agency squarely on human shoulders. That I end this heavenly counsel. Amidst this solemn pronouncement, a deep silence falls. Justice demands a penalty for sin, but divine love seeks a way for redemption. And it is here that the Son, filled with immeasurable compassion, steps forward, offering himself as the ultimate sacrifice to pay the price for humanity's transgression. This act of divine selflessness, prefigured and promised, becomes the cornerstone of God's plan for salvation, a plan born not of cosmic obligation, but of boundless love. It's a moment that reminds us that even in the face of inevitable failure, there is an overarching design of grace. The narrative then brings us back to Eden, but with a heightened sense of anticipation. To ensure Adam has every opportunity, every piece of information to make a truly informed choice, God dispatches the archangel Raphael. Raphael's visit to Eden is a pivotal moment, a profound dialogue between the celestial and the earthly. He comes not to prevent the fall, for that would negate free will, but to warn Adam, to enlighten him, to equip him with knowledge. Raphael's discourse is extensive and fascinating. He recounts the entire story of Satan's rebellion in heaven, revealing the genesis of evil, the consequences of pride, and the dangers of disobedience. He details the vastness of creation, the order of the cosmos, and the delicate balance of the universe. He gives Adam a cosmological lecture, explaining the movements of the stars and planets, fostering that very intellectual curiosity we noted earlier. And through all of this, the central theme is underscored. Knowledge comes with responsibility. Adam is given a window into the divine order, into the very nature of good and evil, and into the grave peril lurking. He is warned explicitly about the forbidden fruit, about the cunning of the adversary, and about the dire consequences of transgressing the one simple command given to him. This isn't a test of blind obedience, but a test of informed choice. Adam, for a brief time, possesses all the necessary wisdom to navigate his destiny. And it is in these interactions that Milton so wonderfully humanizes Adam and Eve. Their daily lives are not just about duty, they are about discovery. We see them in their home, their nuptial bower, a natural paradise within Eden itself, adorned with fragrant blossoms. We listen in on their conversations, which range from the mundane to the sublime. Adam's questions to Raphael about the stars and the universe are not just rhetorical. They are the genuine outpouring of a curious mind grappling with immensity. He wonders if the sun moves around the earth, or if the earth moves around the sun, a question that Milton, living in the age of Copernicus and Galileo, places perfectly in the mouth of nascent humanity. Eve, too, is a figure of grace and intelligence. She listens, she learns, she contributes to their shared life with equal passion and insight. Their relationship is characterized by mutual respect, shared wonder, and a deep, tender affection. They discuss their plans for the day, their observations of the garden, their hopes for the future. We see them not as abstract symbols, but as relatable beings, full of innocent joy, striving for understanding, and deeply in love. This makes the angelic warning and the looming threat all the more poignant. Their existence is one of fragile beauty, a state of perfect balance, poised on the knife edge of a single, fateful choice. We come to know them, to understand their potential, and to see the profound value of what they stand to lose. This chapter, then, sets the stage for the ultimate drama. It illuminates the dazzling light of innocence and divine grace, casting into sharp relief the shadows of hell we explored earlier. It presents us with the profound gift and burden of free will, and introduces the promise of redemption even before the fall. It allows us to spend time with Adam and Eve, to appreciate their untainted humanity, their love, and their insatiable curiosity. And it reminds us that knowledge, while empowering, also brings with it the heavy cloak of responsibility. As we move forward, this understanding of their world, their love, and the warning they received will be crucial to grasping the tragedy that awaits. Chapter 3, The Seduction. How Paradise Was Lost, Book 9. Welcome back to our journey through the monumental epic of Paradise Lost. We've seen the grand celestial war, we've witnessed the creation of Earth and humanity, and we've even spent some time in the bliss of Eden. But now we arrive at the turning point, the moment everything shifts. This is Chapter 3, The Seduction, How Paradise Was Truly Lost, as detailed in Book 9 of Milton's masterpiece. If you're expecting a simple story of a snake, an apple, and some easily tricked humans, think again. Milton, ever the profound psychologist, crafts this scene not as a mere act of disobedience, but as a breathtaking, agonizing masterpiece of persuasion, emotional manipulation, and a deep dive into complex human desire. It's truly one of the most brilliant and heartbreaking moments in all of literature. Let's begin by dissecting Satan's strategy, because it's nothing short of brilliant. Having failed in direct war, Satan understands he must corrupt humanity from within, and his genius lies in his subtlety. First, he isolates Eve. He exploits a very human desire for independence, a slight rift in the perfect harmony of Eden. Eve, feeling perhaps a touch undervalued or simply yearning to prove her capabilities, suggests they work separately to cover more ground. Adam, with a lover's apprehension, tries to dissuade her, citing the dangers of their unseen enemy. But Eve, perhaps with a touch of wounded pride or simply a yearning for self-assertion, insists. And so, Satan finds her, alone, radiant, and vulnerable. His approach isn't crude. It begins with flattery, yes, but flattery of the most intoxicating kind. The serpent, animated by Satan, speaks not just with words, but with a seductive grace, praising Eve's beauty and divine radiance in terms that elevate her beyond mere mortal. He makes her feel, for the first time perhaps, truly seen and admired in a way Adam, for all his love, couldn't articulate. He tells her she's too magnificent to be confined, too intelligent to be limited by simple rules. This initial softening of her defenses is crucial, making her receptive to his more insidious arguments. Then comes the logic, or rather, the sophistry. He presents himself as living proof of the fruit's benefits. "Look at me," he essentially says, "a mere serpent, transformed by this fruit to speak with human tongue, to possess reason. If it can do this for me, imagine what it can do for you, already so much greater." He systematically dismantles God's prohibition. He questions authority, painting God not as a benevolent creator, but as a jealous tyrant, fearful of humanity's potential. Why would God forbid such a wonderful thing? Surely, it's not out of malice, but out of fear that you will become like him, knowing good and evil. He twists the concept of death, suggesting it's not oblivion, but an ascent to a higher state of being, a transformation. It's a masterful performance, appealing to her intellect as much as her ego, and slowly, irrevocably, eroding her trust in divine law. But Eve's motivations for eating the fruit are far more complex than simple vanity or being easily tricked. While Satan's flattery certainly opens the door, it's Eve's own deeply human desires that drive her through it. She isn't just seeking admiration, she's seeking more. There's a profound thirst for knowledge. The forbidden fruit promises eyes opened, the understanding of good and evil. This isn't trivial. It's an intellectual allure, a yearning to ascend beyond innocence into a fuller, more complete understanding of existence. She wants to know, to perceive the world with greater clarity and depth. Then there's the unspoken desire for equality. She was created second, from Adam's rib. Adam has direct, unmediated communion with God. Does she, even in the perfect world of Eden, feel a subtle difference, a slight disadvantage? The fruit promises to make her as gods. This could be a powerful appeal to bridge that perceived gap, to rise to a comparable status, to achieve a more complete selfhood. It's a pursuit of self-actualization, albeit a tragically misguided one. And finally, of course, there's pure curiosity, the allure of the unknown, the forbidden. What exactly is this secret knowledge? What power does it truly hold? These are relatable human impulses, magnified in the context of pristine innocence. And then we come to Adam's truly tragic choice. This is where Milton really elevates the story. Adam is not deceived. He hears Eve's story, sees the fruit in her hand, and instantly comprehends the enormity of what has happened. He understands the direct command. He knows the consequence of death. His initial reaction is one of horror and despair. But his choice is made not out of deception, but out of an overwhelming, heartbreaking love for Eve. He simply cannot bear the thought of losing her, of facing divine wrath without her, or of living a solitary existence in a world where she no longer exists. "Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone," he declares. Their bond, their unity is paramount to him. He consciously chooses to fall with her, to share her fate, whatever it may be. It's an ultimate act of human attachment, a desperate, defiant act of love, tragically misplaced in direct opposition to God's will. It's perhaps the most profoundly human moment in the entire epic, revealing both the sublime beauty and the destructive power of love. Ultimately, the fall in Paradise Lost is a deeply, universally human moment, driven by emotions we all recognize. It's not a story of ancient myth disconnected from our experience, but a mirror reflecting our own inner workings. We see curiosity, that restless human drive to explore and understand, pushing Eve towards the forbidden. We see ambition, the desire to be more, to transcend current limitations, manifesting in her yearning for godhood. And we see love, profound and all-consuming, driving Adam to make a choice that sacrifices his own innocence for the sake of his beloved. Milton strips away the supernatural veneer to reveal the raw, recognizable emotions that lead to profound change. The fall isn't a preordained destiny or a simple misstep. It's a consequence of a series of complex choices, influenced by external manipulation and internal desires. It's a testament to the power of persuasion, the fragility of innocence, and the enduring strength and perilous nature of human connection. The immediate aftermath, the shame, the guilt, the sudden awareness of their nakedness, is the stark proof of paradise lost. The perfect harmony is broken, and a new, more complicated human existence has begun. As we move forward, we'll see the full weight of these choices bear down upon Adam and Eve and on all of humanity. But for now, take a moment to reflect on this profound psychological drama. It's a story not just about the loss of paradise, but about the very essence of what it means to be human. Chapter 4. The Paradise Within. Finding Hope in Ruin, Books XXII. Alright, let's pick up the story right after the bite, after that moment of irreversible change. If you thought the fall itself was the end of the drama, Milton assures us it's just the beginning of a whole new kind of human experience, one we're still very much living. This is Chapter 4, The Paradise Within. Finding Hope in Ruin, covering books X through 12. The immediate aftermath of eating the forbidden fruit is stark, painful, and profoundly relatable. Adam and Eve's eyes are opened, but not to the exalted knowledge they anticipated. Instead, they're confronted with their own nakedness, not as a symbol of innocence, but of vulnerability and shame. The instant rush to fashion fig leaves isn't just about covering their bodies. It's the very first act of human artifice, of concealment, of trying to hide from a reality that has suddenly become too harsh to bear. Then comes the sound of God walking in the garden. Imagine that, a familiar sound, once a comfort, now a source of primal terror. They hide, of course. It's a moment that echoes through countless human experiences of guilt and fear. And when confronted, what's their first instinct? Blame. Adam, with a remarkable lack of self-awareness, points directly at Eve. She gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Eve, not to be outdone, blames the serpent. The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. This isn't just a petty squabble. This is the disintegration of their perfect unity. The first human argument, born of shame and fear, where love and trust are momentarily eclipsed by self-preservation. Milton portrays this beautifully and painfully. It's raw, it's ugly, and it feels utterly, terrifyingly human. Their once harmonious relationship fractures under the weight of shared transgression, each seeking to offload the burden onto the other. It's a sobering reminder of how easily fear can turn us against those we love. But this isn't where their story ends. Milton, ever the master of human psychology, doesn't leave them in this state of mutual accusation. He traces their incredibly powerful emotional journey from that initial blame to something far more profound. The curses are delivered: pain in childbirth for Eve, toil and sorrow for Adam, death for both. And the sheer weight of this future begins to press down on them. The anger and resentment between them begin to fade, replaced by a devastating, shared grief. Adam, overwhelmed, falls into a deep despair, even wishing for death. He lashes out at Eve again, blaming her for his suffering, for bringing sin into the world. It's a brutal moment, but then Eve, through her own profound sorrow and repentance, reaches out. In an act of incredible humility and love, she kneels before him, acknowledging her fault, but also pleading for reconciliation. She offers to bear the entire curse herself, or even suggests they cease to procreate, to prevent their offspring from suffering. This moment of genuine self-sacrifice and shared sorrow is the turning point. Adam, seeing her sincere contrition and enduring love, softens. His anger dissipates, replaced by compassion. They realize that their individual suffering is compounded by their separation, and that true solace, true strength, can only be found in their renewed unity. They come together, not in defiance, but in shared grief and, crucially, in shared repentance. They fall to their knees, no longer hiding, but openly acknowledging their sin, seeking forgiveness. This is their first true prayer, born not of fear, but of profound contrition, and it marks the beginning of their path towards redemption. And this brings us to one of the most radical and brilliant theological concepts in Paradise Lost, the idea of felix culpa, or the fortunate fall. It's a paradox, a profound and challenging thought, that humanity had to fall, had to experience sin and suffering, in order to truly understand and appreciate God's greatest gifts: grace, mercy, and redemption. Milton isn't saying sin is good, far from it. He's arguing that without the fall, humanity would have remained in an innocent but perhaps unproven state, like children who have never truly known temptation or had to make a conscious choice for good. The fall, catastrophic as it was, opens the door to a deeper, more profound relationship with God, one forged through struggle, repentance, and the overwhelming experience of divine love and forgiveness. It makes possible the ultimate act of redemption through Christ, a sacrifice that would have been unnecessary and therefore unknown had Adam and Eve never transgressed. It's the idea that from the greatest tragedy can spring the greatest triumph. It's a universe where God's plan is so vast and intricate that even human error can be woven into a tapestry of ultimate good, demonstrating His infinite capacity for mercy and His power to bring light out of darkness. It's a terrible wound, but one that allows for a healing that reveals an even greater spiritual strength. As Adam and Eve begin to grasp the enormity of their new existence, God sends the archangel Michael, not simply to banish them, but to offer them a vision of the future. Michael reveals a sweeping panorama of human history, a future filled with struggle, war, sin, and sorrow, but also with heroes, prophets, and ultimately, the coming of the Messiah. This vision is crucial. It's a hard truth, but it's also a powerful dose of hope, showing them that their single act of disobedience isn't the final chapter, but merely the opening of a grander, more complex narrative of human salvation. And it culminates in Michael's powerful, transformative words to Adam. As they prepare to leave Eden, Michael tells Adam, "Then wilt thou not be loath to leave this paradise, but shalt possess a paradise within thee, happier far." This is the ultimate message of Paradise Lost, and perhaps the most enduring lesson for us. The physical garden, the external paradise of perfect beauty and ease, is lost forever. But true paradise, the one that truly matters, isn't found in a place. It's found within. It's an internal state of grace, of peace, of contentment, of communion with God, cultivated through faith, repentance, and an awakened conscience. This internal paradise is happier far because it's earned, understood through suffering, tested by adversity, and it's impervious to external destruction. No serpent can enter it, no fruit can corrupt it. It is a spiritual dwelling, built on resilience, hope, and an active relationship with the divine. Milton is telling us that our deepest fulfillment doesn't come from a perfect external environment, but from our moral and spiritual landscape, from our ability to find peace, purpose, and connection even amidst ruin. Adam and Eve, holding hands with wandering steps and slow, walk out of Eden. It's an image of profound sadness, yes, but not of utter despair. They are leaving paradise, but they are carrying the seeds of a new one within them. They are leaving innocence behind, but embracing experience, repentance, and the profound, transformative power of God's grace. They have lost one paradise, but they have found the promise of another, one that is ultimately more resilient and more enduring because it resides in the human heart. And that, I think, is a message that echoes powerfully in our own lives, reminding us that even when we feel we've lost everything, the greatest treasures, hope, resilience, and inner peace, are always ours to cultivate. All right, we've journeyed through the cosmic tragedy and profound theological debates of John Milton's Paradise Lost today. Witnessed the epic fall of angels, the innocent beauty of Eden, and the devastating choice that altered humanity's destiny forever. It's a vast, intricate tapestry woven with theology, philosophy, and breathtaking poetry. But what truly sticks? What can we, living in our own modern chaos and triumphs, pull from this grand narrative? If I had to distill this entire monumental experience, 90 minutes of exploration, reflection, and wonder into 3 core, undeniable truths that you can carry with you, 3 eternal takeaways that resonate long after the final page is turned, they would be these. These are the anchors, the profound lessons that I believe lie at the very heart of Milton's masterpiece, ready to be recalled and applied to our own lives. First, and perhaps the most iconic, is this: the mind is the ultimate architect. This truth, so eloquently thundered by Satan himself, the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven, is more than just a memorable quote. It is a fundamental pillar of human experience. It tells us that our perception, our mindset, our internal landscape, not our external circumstances, is the true creator of our reality. Think about it. Satan, cast from the glory of heaven, humiliated and defeated, finds himself in the fiery abyss of hell. Yet, even there, amidst torture without end, he chooses to declare dominion. He chooses to reign, albeit in hell. He could have languished, succumbed to despair, but instead, he rebuilds, he strategizes, he finds a new purpose, however dark. His external reality is undeniably awful, a cosmic prison, but his internal choice is to defy, to lead, to make the best or worst of it. He chooses his attitude. Conversely, imagine someone in a seemingly idyllic situation, surrounded by comfort, wealth, opportunity, a heaven on earth, if you will. But if their mind is plagued by insecurity, envy, resentment, or a pervasive sense of victimhood, they will create their own personal hell within that paradise. They will be miserable in heaven. It's a stark reminder that true peace, true contentment, and even true suffering originate not from what happens to us, but from how we interpret and respond to what happens. I've seen this play out in my own life in smaller, less dramatic ways than Satan's fall, thankfully. There have been moments when I've faced setbacks, perceived failures, or unexpected challenges that, on the surface, felt absolutely crushing. My initial reaction might have been despair, frustration, or a sense of injustice. But inevitably, when I've managed to shift my perspective, to see the challenge as an opportunity for learning, a chance to pivot, or even just a temporary inconvenience, the entire experience transforms. The problem doesn't disappear, but my capacity to deal with it, and my emotional state surrounding it, completely changes. I'm not saying it's easy. Changing your mindset can feel like moving mountains, especially when deep-seated habits of thought are at play. But Milton, through Satan, offers us this profound, almost terrifying freedom, the power to define our own internal world, regardless of the external. This is an immense power, and it places the burden and the glory of our reality squarely on our own shoulders. It means that even in the deepest pits, we retain a spark of sovereignty. What kind of world are you architecting within your own mind right now? Our second eternal truth, deeply intertwined with the first, is this: true freedom requires responsibility. The ability to choose, to exercise our will, is presented by Milton as our greatest, most divine gift. Adam and Eve are given free will by God, a choice to obey or to transgress. They are not mindless automatons. They are conscious beings capable of making independent decisions. But this magnificent gift, this freedom, is utterly inseparable from the weight of its consequences. It's not simply the freedom to choose, but also the responsibility for the choice. When Adam and Eve choose to eat from the tree of knowledge, it's not a trivial act. It's the ultimate exercise of their freedom, but it comes with monumental ramifications. Their choice doesn't just affect them. It echoes through all of humanity, casting them out of Eden, introducing suffering and mortality into the world. Even the rebellious angels, led by Satan, made a choice. They chose pride over humility, rebellion over obedience. And while they exercised their freedom, they also had to face the very real, very harsh consequences of that choice: eternal damnation and endless torment in hell. Think about our own lives. We constantly make choices, from the smallest daily decisions to the life-altering ones. Do I pursue this career path? Do I commit to this relationship? Do I speak up or remain silent? Each choice is an exercise of our freedom. But how often do we truly consider the ripple effect, the long-term consequences, not just for ourselves but for those around us? True freedom isn't about doing whatever we want without thought for repercussions. That's recklessness, not freedom. True freedom is the conscious understanding that with every choice we make, we are also choosing the path of accountability. We are choosing to own the outcomes, good or bad. This isn't to say we should live in fear of making the wrong choice, paralyzed by potential consequences. Rather, it's an invitation to engage with our freedom more thoughtfully, more consciously, to recognize that the power of self-determination is a sacred trust. It reminds us that part of growing up, part of becoming truly self-actualized, is embracing the responsibility that comes with our agency. It's a sobering truth, yes, but also an empowering one. It means we are not passive recipients of fate. We are active participants, shaping our destinies with every deliberate decision, and then living with the full weight and wonder of what those decisions bring. To be truly free is to be truly responsible. And finally, our third eternal truth, one that offers profound hope amidst the despair of the fall. Growth begins after the fall. The expulsion from Eden for Adam and Eve is the ultimate failure, the ultimate loss. They have lost paradise, their innocence, their direct communion with God. They are cast out into a harsh, unknown world, destined for toil and death. Feels like the end of everything good. Yet Milton doesn't end their story there, nor does he depict them as eternally broken. Instead, he shows us the beginning of something new. Their journey of learning, of suffering, of repentance, and ultimately, of growth. It is only after their profound fall that Adam and Eve begin to truly understand compassion for one another, to find strength in their shared vulnerability, and to glimpse the arduous path of redemption. They learn humility, the value of hard work, and the depth of love that can endure hardship. Their greatest moments of wisdom, compassion, and strength are forged not in the idyllic garden, but in the crucible of their failure and loss. It's a powerful statement that our most significant transformations, our deepest insights, and our most resilient spirits often emerge directly from our greatest setbacks. Think about your own life or the lives of people you admire. Rarely does significant growth happen when everything is comfortable and easy. It's often in the aftermath of a major breakup, a job loss, a health crisis, or a profound disappointment that we are forced to reevaluate, to adapt, to dig deeper within ourselves than we ever thought possible. We hit rock bottom, and then, slowly, painfully, we begin the climb back up, learning invaluable lessons along the way. We discover strength we didn't know we possessed, empathy born from shared suffering, and a clarity of purpose that was obscured by prior ease. Milton gives us a profoundly human and humane perspective on failure. It's not the end, it's often the catalyst. It's the raw material from which resilience is forged, from which deeper understanding springs. Adam and Eve, though fallen, walk hand in hand out of Eden, not into utter despair, but towards a future where they will learn, strive, and ultimately find a new kind of paradise within themselves, earned through wisdom and suffering. Their fall is not just a descent. It is also the beginning of an ascent towards a more complex, more profound humanity. It's a reminder that even when we feel like we've lost everything, when the ground has fallen out from under us, that very void can become the fertile ground for new growth, for a wisdom that can only be earned through experience. Our scars, truly, can be our greatest teachers, so there you have them. 3 eternal truths, pulled from the vast, shimmering depths of Paradise Lost. The mind's power to shape our reality, the inseparable bond between freedom and responsibility, and the profound wisdom that blossoms in the wake of our falls. These aren't just literary observations. They are blueprints for a more conscious, more resilient, and ultimately, more meaningful life. They are Milton's gift to us, a legacy of understanding that transcends centuries and speaks directly to the core of what it means to be human. We've journeyed through the vast, complex landscapes of John Milton's Paradise Lost today, exploring the fall from grace, the nature of free will, and the very essence of good and evil. It's a journey that, for me, always leaves more questions than answers, and that's precisely its power, isn't it? It forces us to look inward, to confront our own internal struggles and the choices that define us. And that brings me to a question I've been pondering as we've walked alongside these monumental figures. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Which character's struggle do you find resonates with you the most deeply? Is it Satan's fierce, unyielding rebellion, his defiant cry for freedom against what he perceives as tyranny? Or perhaps you find yourself leaning towards Eve's profound curiosity, her yearning for knowledge, even at the cost of innocence and the unknown consequences. Or maybe, just maybe, it's Adam's unwavering, yet ultimately flawed loyalty, his agonizing choice to share a fate he knows is doomed, all for the sake of companionship. There's no right or wrong answer here, just an invitation to reflect on the echoes of these ancient struggles in our own lives. I genuinely can't wait to read what you all come up with. Your perspectives always add so much to these conversations. If this deep dive into Paradise Lost offered you a new lens through which to view an old classic, or even if it just sparked a fresh thought you hadn't considered before, I'd truly appreciate it if you'd give this video a like. It's a small gesture, but it helps so much in letting me know that these explorations resonate with you, and that we're on the right track in dissecting the literature that continues to shape our understanding of ourselves and the world. And if you're keen to continue this journey with me, peeling back the layers of the foundational texts that underpin our culture and our consciousness, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. We've only just begun to scratch the surface of these literary giants that in fact, if you enjoyed this particular exploration, you might be very interested in what's next on our reading list. We could delve into the harrowing, yet ultimately transformative, realms of Dante's Inferno, a journey through the 9 circles of self, where we'll confront the very architecture of sin and redemption. Or perhaps we'll turn our attention to the chilling brilliance of The Philosophy of Frankenstein, exploring the ethical dilemmas of creation, responsibility, and what it truly means to be human in a world we're constantly trying to remake. Let me know which of those sounds most compelling to you in the comments, too. Your input helps guide where we go next on this literary adventure. Ultimately, whether we're wrestling with angels and demons in a cosmic war, or navigating the intricate pathways of human conscience, these stories are more than just words on a page. They are mirrors, reflections of our deepest fears, our highest aspirations, and our eternal quest for meaning. And as we close this chapter on Paradise Lost, I want to leave you with a simple yet profound thought. Go find the paradise within. It's there, I promise you, waiting to be discovered, cultivated, and fiercely protected. Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning, and keep exploring that incredible inner world.